Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'du. Now I will be presenting a study on how the children of concubines or Walad came to dominate the line of succession in the Abbasid Caliphate. This research explores how gender, lineage, and political power shaped who became caliph in early Islamic history. I conducted this study with my colleague, Mr. Akhmad Najibul Khairi Syaie from Faculty of Adab and Humanities, Sunan Ampel, Surabaya, who has just got his PhD from one of prestigious universities in Australia. So it's such an honor for me to collaborate with him. The background of this study. In the Abbasid era, many caliphs were not born from legal wives or al-nisa al-mahair, but from slave concubine or jariyah who gained a special status after being children, and then she will be called as Walad. This fact raises important questions about gender roles, social status, and political strategy within the court, and challenges our assumptions about leadership and legitimacy. This research asks three key questions. The first question is, who were Jariyah and Walad in Abbasid society? Which caliphs were born from concubines and which from legal wives? And why were children of concubines more often chosen as successors? These questions help us understand deeper dynamics in Islamic political history. This research uses a qualitative and historical method, analyzing classical Islamic texts such as At-Tabari and Al-Mas'udi. The approach is critical and interdisciplinary, using theories of gender, lineage, and power discourse, especially the work of Michel Foucault, to understand how leadership was justified and constructed. Now, let me share the main findings of this study, which directly respond to the research questions. In the Abbasid context, Jaria was a female slave, often part of the palace household. Once she gave birth to her master's child, she was elevated to the status of Walad, which gave her partial legal protection and a special role in the court, especially as the mother of a potential successor. The majority of Abbasid caliphs of Abbasid dynasty in the early period were born from Walad. It is only As-Saffah and Al-Amin who were born from a free noble wife or from a Nisa al-Mahair. This shows a clear pattern of preference in succession. One key reason is that their mothers, being of slave origin, had no strong tribal affiliations. This made the sons of politically neutral and allowed to caliph to maintain greater control over successions. They were still seen as fully legitimate through the father, and their selections helped reinforce centralized power. In these discussions, we reflect more deeply on what these findings mean. The preference for children of Walad was not just coincidence, but part of a larger power strategy. It reflects how the Abbasid caliphs used family structure to secure political control by choosing successors from mothers without strong externalities, from uh, Jawari or from Walad, they reduced the risk of interference from powerful maternal tribes. Through the lens of gender theory, we see that the role of women, especially enslaved mothers, was both marginalized and crucial. Although they had no formal power, their bodies and their children become central to dynamic politics. And then, from a discourse perspective, the repeated patterns in historical texts construct a truth that sons of slave mothers were legitimate and even preferable. This shows how history is not just recording events but also shaping political norms about who deserve to rule. And finally, examining this through the concept of nasab or lineage reminds us that even in a society where bloodiness mattered greatly, social and political considerations could override strict genealogical purity when it served the needs of the ruling elite. To conclude, this study highlights how gender and lineage were key tools of political control in Islamic history. It reminds us that historical power was not only shaped by laws or religion, but also by family strategies and social hierarchies that deserve more attention in Islamic studies, especially in Islamic historiography. Thank you. That's all my presentation today. I hope this presentation will give insights for you all, especially for the history students, history lecture in universities. And then, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.